Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. In today's show, we'll check in with the Ames Electric Services Department. My guest today is Donald Comm, Director of Ames Electric Services. Don, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a while since you've been here, and let's get our audience up to speed a little bit. Lots of things are happening in Ames Electric Services, including a large conversion on our power plant.
Absolutely. As most people know, we have two large coal-fired power plants that sit at the end of Main Street. Back in November of 2013, in talking with City Council, they approved the conversion of those two units from coal to natural gas. So that is well underway. Our larger unit, Unit 8, has since been converted to natural gas, and we're currently working on Unit 7, which is our smaller unit, and we anticipate that that will be done probably by the end of July, and we'll then completely be off coal and on natural gas and refuse-derived fuel. So it's important to know that we use both fuels in those units.
Well, Ames Electric Services has really been very involved in the sustainability movement, and sustainability has always been part of the portfolio, the way that we produce and distribute electricity to customers. Tell me a little bit about what other sources we use for electricity.
One little known fact is our portfolio actually includes a lot of sustainable fuels. I mentioned refuse-derived fuel is one of the fuels that we use to provide electricity to our customers, and that typically on a given year provides about 4% of our energy use.
And for people who are not familiar with the RDF, what is that?
RDF, refuse-derived fuel, is a fancy way of saying processed garbage. So most of the garbage that is produced in the county is brought to resource recovery, processed. We take out glass and aluminum and the recyclables, and then we take that, it's shredded into small pieces, and what we can burn then is sent over to the power plant, and we use that to produce some of our electricity.
So the metals are extracted. The glass, of course, we want people to bring to those yellow glass recycling bins that are located all around Story County, and then as you said, the rest is shredded and the burnable portion comes over to you.
Yep, and we turn that into electricity. So that's one piece, and that's about 4%. Another component that most people don't know about is we actually have a long-term contract for wind resources. And that provides, typically between 11 and 17% of our energy, depending upon how windy it is outside and the time of the year. And that's a 20-year contract that we entered into in 2009. And as those wind turbines turn, we then use that energy then to also serve our customers.
Well, recently I've been traveling around both northern and southern parts of the state, and I'm amazed at the number of turbines that are up and running. Mm-hmm. They are, wind farms are really located all over. What the city of Ames is purchasing, we don't have a turbine of our own. We basically have purchased the power of one of these existing turbines.
Actually, it's multiple turbines. We have, in our terms, it's 36 megawatts. That's the nameplate of these turbines. That's actually 24 defined turbines, and they're located over in the Colo-Ziering area. And so it produces there, and the reason why it's there and not in downtown Ames is that was found to be a windier resource than it would be if you put it physically in Ames, where you've got buildings and other things that would break up the wind. So you kind of want it in the windiest parts of the state to get the best output.
So we have wind, we have RDF. Another recent development I've noticed, a lot more customers are interested in solar.
Solar is the up-and-coming provider of electricity. We currently have 24 of our customers that have put solar panels on their both residence or on their business. And we encourage solar through rebate program, and we see that as being probably the area that's going to grow the quickest.
So I have a neighbor, and I've walked past and saw all these solar panels on his roof. He's actually doing net metering. I mean, he is some days producing more solar than he can actually use.
It's a nice program. So on the sunniest of days, if that solar panel is overproducing, we put special metering on there. that kind of looks both directions. So normally the solar energy would be used to service house or business, depending upon where it's at. And then anything that's overproduced, it actually goes onto the grid, and then the city returns that today back to the customer, say, when the sun goes down. And that's how we treat that. But there are many people out there that can't put solar on. Maybe they're a renter, or maybe their house is facing the wrong direction, or maybe they're not living in a house. And so one of the things that we're beginning to look at very strongly is a community solar project that would allow members of the community to participate in that. So if I lived in an apartment and wanted to be part of that, I think a community solar project is the ideal way to do that.
So you would basically buy into solar farm.
A solar farm, yes. And one of the things we're looking at now is what is the model that we should do with that? And then the next big question is going to be, where do we locate it? And that's something that we'd like to locate fairly close to Ames, keeping in mind that we don't want to necessarily use agricultural land and things like that. So we're trying to find some of the ideal sites that people can go and look at the solar farm, and yet where it's land that probably isn't good for much else. And that's kind of the struggle right now, is to find enough land to put this on and still tie it onto our system and do it economically.
So there really is sort of the spectrum of different types of resources we're using to produce electricity. Our portfolio is pretty broad.
It is. We also have peaking units for the absolute hottest days of the year and things like that. We have generation that we can turn on in a moment's notice, and we have backup fuel to supply those. Mentioned the natural gas, the solar, the wind, and then we do purchase some of our energy off of what is called the open market or the grid, and that can come from a wide range of resources. It could be other wind, it could be other generation that is currently running at the time.
Another very successful program that your department oversees is the Smart Energy Rebates. Over $1 million this year in rebates. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. That is a program that, again, City Council has authorized us to start back in 2007. And the neat thing about that program is we can use incentives, rebates, to encourage our customers to put in more efficient equipment. Air conditioning is a big one. The improvements to air conditioning have gone up so much in these years. Even if you have an air conditioner that's 10 years old, the improvements to the current models almost pays for itself to put in a updated, upgraded, higher SEER rated air conditioner. Rebates help to offset that upfront cost, but where customers really benefits are in the future years, it uses less energy.
So again, we have great information on those programs on our website. Don, always a pleasure to hear from you. So much going on. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Again, if you'd like more information on those smart energy rebates, including rebate for solar, check out our website at cityofames.org/smart energy. You'll get all the information you need on energy reduction products there. Also remember, as we get into July, this is the final month for Ames Municipal Band concerts. They'll be every Thursday night throughout this month, beginning with a warm-up band about 7 and the Ames Municipal Band at 8 p.m. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.